Gregory D was doing in Louisiana and all those type records. All that shit was filtering down here. So we was getting everything, and we were listening to all of this. And we were fans of everybody's music, because there wasn't no Plex back then. It wasn't enough rappers for a nigga to be choosy. If you like rap music, you listen to everybody. It wasn't like you listen to East Coast or West Coast. It was like, it don't matter where the record come from. If it's a good record, we jammed it. So we was exposed to all of that shit. Being exposed to all that shit, all of it influenced us. All of those records are a part of us. Run DMC is a part of us. Schoolie D is a part of us. Ice-T, King T, you know what I'm saying? And we could drop names all night, but you see what I'm trying to say. And so then, for a long time down here, we ain't have no identity, because all the music was coming from other places. We ain't have nothing to call our own until I get a record. It wasn't a record, it was a cassette tape with a motherfucking newspaper on it that said Houston Chronicle. You know, and I'm like, Houston Chronicle, because at this time I'm buying everything that come out. It said Houston Chronicle, and then I flip it over and I'm like, and I check out the address of the record label, and it say Houston, Texas. I said, God damn. Shit, we can do it too. You know, so when that GB shit came out, that gave us hope down here. It showed us that, hey, maybe we can make it too. Let's see how well they do. So everybody stood back and watched while them niggas went through all that bullshit they were going through. Everybody sit back and watch and listen. And at that time, you know, Ghetto Boys, this was a long time ago. I mean, Ghetto Boys was leaning more towards East Coast rap style with West Coast lyric tendencies back then. You know, and this is the time, it's the second Ghetto Boys I'm talking about, Jay. I'm talking about before Car Freak. I didn't hear Car Freak till later on. You know, I'm talking about, you know, Making Trouble. You know, and so Johnny C from the East Coast, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And so he, you know, Ready Red, you know, Jukebox, and Bill and them, and shit, and you know, so that shit was, it had an East Coast flavor to it. But at that time, we wasn't tripping on that. We were so happy to have our own rappers and some shit we could hold on to that we wasn't tripping. And them niggas was saying Houston in their records. We were like, God damn, man, this shit here really means something, man. Now, them niggas gave us hope and really showed us that we could have this shit too. And that was important, because we thought that, you know, well, we rapping for fun right now. We ain't never gonna make no record, because, you know, it's about where you at, you know, and then we figured out it wasn't about that. It was about what, you know, what you putting down. And so we had no identity for a long time. And I used to try to rap like them West Coast niggas and rap like them East Coast niggas and try to twist my voice and try to make myself sound deeper than I really was, because my voice was high pitched. I would jump out the speaker and nigga never could mix it right, and the shit was fucked up on the demo. And I'm like, damn, man. Until one day I just said, man, I can't help but be country. I got to go on, just talk like we talk every day, you know. And luckily, we came to that conclusion before we dropped our first record. I'm like, well, fuck it, man. We just gonna talk like we talk. And when we did it and put it out there, nigga was like, man, that's our song now.
Let me tell you how that came about, because a lot of people may not even know how that came about. That first set of Ghetto Boys he talking about, which was 2 members, was from the East Coast. Back then, they had DJs from East Coast saturating our city. You know what I'm saying? This was, if you wasn't rapping like that or being like that, you wasn't shit. So, me back then, I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm allowing somebody else to run my labor to a certain extent. And I got to my last piece of money. I moved my people to New York. moved Rap-A-Lot to New York for 6 months. I go out there for the last 2 months. I stayed, I think, 6 weeks, and I had an opportunity to really, you know, sit back and focus and see what was happening. So after observing New York, hanging in Def Jam office, seeing LL Cool J checks, Run DMC, I said, damn, there's a bunch of money in this thing, right? So I said, okay. So back then, Raw Flush. I'm dealing with Raw Flush back then.
Rick Raw.
Yeah. So back then, I made a decision. I said, God damn. I say, we trying to be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I say, they trying to rap like somebody else, sound like somebody else, and everything else. I say, y'all pack up. We going back to Houston. I say, we finna be who we are. You know what I'm saying? That was the first movement. So I got back in, got rid of all the other ghetto boys. And that's when I shook the city inside out and came up with people that didn't mind being themselves and following the concept. So it was that seed and that thought that you know, brought about, you know, everybody. We had to run New Yorkers out of this town, the DJs. You know what I'm saying? We had to blaze a trail, man, because we were serious about, you know, everybody respecting us for who we was, what we sound like and everything else, because, you know, they was trying to make us feel like we wasn't, you know, because we was country, you know, you can't be nobody. So we demanded respect, got respect, and laid the foundation, which UGK capitalized on and added to the foundation, which is the foundation more so from their style. You know, as C said, he said it was a lot of them in there, you know, practicing that style, but they was the first one to have a major behind them, you know, to expose it. But, you know, I give them the credit because of that.
But I'm gonna say this, you know, Willie D really the first nigga to really get on a record like that and let that country shit hang out, man.
Yeah.
You know, Will was country when it wasn't cool to be country. And then I came along later on, and I made it cool to rhyme words together that don't even rhyme, because I know how to twist the end of them and say them in a certain kind of way where I can make shit rhyme that don't even rhyme, you know. And so then I realized I can't deepen up my voice. So I'm just gonna rap in this high pitched voice that I got. And then later on, motherfucker was like, man, you know, you got a hell of a voice. Something I was running away from. You know, so, you know, hey man, and you know, ain't none of this me, this, you know, it's the creator did this.
Hoes in chains and swinging things.
Y'all remember that shit? Talking about
just another young player having things, man.
check this shit out. It's really going down in the goddamn South. Young girls popping pussy with them goals. It's really going down in the goddamn South. Girls popping pussy, goals in their mouth. Boys coming up, laying it down in the gut. Never falling in the rucker like was made for us to strut. Maybe